Joining us right now, CNBC's Larry Kudlow. Of course, he is the host of the Larry Kudlow Show on WMAL Saturdays at 7 p.m. Larry, we will jump to the vaccination question in a moment. I am interested in your opinion on it since everyone is talking about it today. But first, let's talk about the president's budget. Just shy of $4 trillion the president has thrown out there. And he's acting like he won the election in November. What do you make of this budget?
I think the budget should be ignored. I think they should just not even look at it. Like, just start writing their own budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
No comment. Just say, okay, that's nice. Now,
duly noted, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, yeah. Duly noted, and you'll save a lot of paper, and you'll have to cut down far fewer trees, so it'll really be environmentally sound. And I'll tell you, I know the spending caps are broken, and he wants a lot of spending in the out years, but I marvel. I truly, I've been around. I've followed many, many, many presidents, participated in a few myself. This guy is the all-time leader, historically and currently, of tax hikes. Okay, this guy really. There was a line we used to use years ago that if it moves, tax it.
Yeah.
I don't remember who that was aimed at. It was Mondale or Dukakis or one of those really neat, outstanding Democrats down through the past. And this guy beats him. He's a world-class taxer. And so what we got yesterday, which I guess we knew was coming, but it was sort of breathtaking, even on the corporate tax where, once in a while he gives lip service to corporate tax reform. So if you bring the money home from foreign profits so you don't have to double tax it, he would tax it at 14%. It gets taxed once overseas at, roughly 25%. Then it would be taxed again here at 14. Then for the long run, whether you bring the money home or not, it would be taxed at 19%.
Goodness.
Just for the hell of it.
Just because
it's a punishment for taking your money overseas. And Larry, I understand the arguments against this, but isn't it true that conservatives and Republicans, pro-growth people like you, Larry, you do have a challenging time arguing this because it is a very populist idea when the president says, why should these corporations who make all this money thanks to the U.S. economy and the U.S. Consumer, why should they avoid taxes by moving their money off seas? It sounds like they're doing something shifty and morally wrong.
Well, I don't feel at all challenged by it. And I think that it's a very simple case. First of all, multinational companies operate worldwide. And why should they have to operate in a punitive, high-tax environment?
Well, that's right.
That their competitors do not. We are the highest corporate tax country in the world. How does that create jobs? Look, what the GOP has to emphasize, quite simply, is that studies show, and I mean studies from the left of center, like Brookings, or the right of center, like the American Enterprise Institute, the biggest beneficiaries of a corporate tax cut would be middle-class, wage-earning workers. That's who would benefit. People Obama says he wants to help the most. They're the ones who essentially pay the corporate tax. Companies don't tax; they don't get taxed. They pay it, but they just collect it and then pass it on, principally to the wage earners in the form of lower wages, benefits, or health. A little bit consumers pay for it with higher prices, and a little bit the shareholders pay for it for lower shareholders. And incidentally, on that point, the shareholder point. Don't forget, it's funny, Obama loves to talk about the 1%. He is Mr. Class Warfare. I give him a lot of credit for that. He's absolutely consistent. He has no idea of what creates jobs or capitalism. But think of it this way. Government workers, his favorite constituency, his biggest contributors, government worker unions, right? Is that fair?
SEIU and
I think it's very fair.
All right, good. So now, remember this. They are heavily invested in pension funds, okay? Either defined pensions or defined contributions, one of the two, okay? So they're stock owners. Now, they're not counted in the 1%, but they should be. There are tens of millions of them. In fact, they're bankrupting a number of states. In fact, that's what Scott Walker's whole 3 campaigns were to win in Wisconsin. So if you are penalizing corporations for making money, you are penalizing the very government worker unions who will get lower stock market returns from their pension funds. So here's another case where Obama is damaging the very people he says he wants to help. And finally, his punitive taxes on capital. He wants to raise the capital gains tax, the dividends tax, and even the inheritance tax. Look, here's a Kudlow bulletin. You can't create a business without capital. Can't be done. All right? Just think about that for a second. I want that to sink in while I finish the rest of
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Therefore, you can't create jobs without a business.
That's right.
Number two. Therefore, it is jobs that create incomes and family spending. So the chain of growth starts with capital. If you punitively tax capital, then you are taxing businesses or stopping them, which means you're taxing jobs, incomes, and family spending. The very people he aims to help will be damaged by his policies. All he really cares about is gobbling up as many new tax revenues as possible to spend. To spend on all the little things he wants to spend on, like infrastructure, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. I haven't read the whole damn thing, nor am I likely to. He wants to spend, he wants to go back and give solar energy tax credits and all that, blah, 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 blah. So I'm just saying that he's the greatest taxer in history. He beats everybody, Mondale, Carter, all those dummies, Dukakis, and furthermore, he's damaging the very people he says he's going to help.
Well, I get all.
GOP just come up with their own plan. Very important, by the way, that the GOP comes up with its own plan.
Well, I get all that, but I mean, one of the things that's in that plan the president has proposed, and I agree it's dead on arrival, but he's thrown out a few things, dangling bait before the Republicans. For example, he proposes 4.5% increase in military spending, and there are many Republicans who would really like to see that kind of spending. He talks about a corporate tax revamp in exchange for getting some money for infrastructure projects, and you know there was never a congressman alive that doesn't want an infrastructure project in their congressional district. So I fear that they will be dragged into a discussion and that he might get a little ground on some of this stuff.
Well, I think, what was your 4.5% one?
4.5 military spending increase.
That's right. Yeah, I think there should be some more military spending. And I think
but he's not going to give me that up without saying, okay, then there has to be some discretionary spending as well.
Yeah, no, I think it's the opposite. I think the give up should be accompanied by a takeaway, and the takeaway should be more reductions in unnecessary, bloated, inefficient, and wasteful.
Well, I mean, I get that, but you know what happens then? He says, no, this is a budget I can't accept.
Yeah, well, look, that's, again, somebody in the White House, I mean, he has very smart people in the White House, so somebody must have told him or shown him a newspaper clip that they just got slaughtered in the last election.
You'd think he would have.
Yeah. Somebody, they're very bright people in there, and somebody probably has to tell them that. Republicans have to really tell them that. So, no, and I also vehemently oppose, and I heard this from none other than Senator Rand Paul yesterday on our CNBC show, where he insulted our host, Kelly.
Yes.
But in any event, I'll leave that alone for a second. We should not attempt to commingle or cross-rough between corporate tax reform and infrastructure. We should not. They're two entirely different things. The infrastructure plans must be completely, utterly, totally revamped. The Federal Highway Trust Fund should be shrunk. We should only deal with interstate highways, with toll roads, perfect world run by private people. That was the Eisenhower vision. The rest of it should go to the states and the localities where they can figure out what revenues they need and what their priorities are. And probably most importantly, I don't need to finance with higher gasoline taxes or any other taxes, Jerry Brown's bullet train.
No, none of us do. All right, Larry, we got to leave it there. I'm so sorry. So much to talk about. We didn't even get to the vaccines, which is what Rand Paul insulted your host on CNBC about it. We'll have to tune in to the Larry Kudlow Show this Saturday at 7 p.m. right here on WMAL to hear about it.